Good evening, everyone. This is the Manhattan Community Board 11 Public Safety and Transportation Committee, December the 14th, 2023. The time is now 6:44, and I am the vice chairperson of this committee. I would like to bring the meeting to order at this particular time. Can we have the roll call, please?
Well, you go over the, we go over the ground rules. Yes.
Let me go over the ground rules first. No one may speak until granted the floor. CB11 members, if you have a question about board business or wish to make a motion, please raise your hand and wait to be recognized. To raise your hand through Zoom, click the participants icon and you will find the raise hand function there. If you have technical difficulties, click the chat icon and relay your difficulty to the staff. Members should not engage in back and forth discussion. The chair, or at this present time, the vice chair, will recognize the next person to speak. The chat should not be used for CB11 business or questions about agenda topics. All remarks should be made on the record when recognized. Please keep your questions and comments brief and on topic to the discussion. Members of the public, if you have a question or comment about the subject on the agenda, please raise your hand and wait to be recognized. And on that note, I will ask our Assistant District Manager, Khalid Nixon, to please do the roll call.
Okay, committee members, please note that there are 12 total committee members for this committee and that's a total of 7 is needed for a quorum. Jose Altamirano was just here virtually and is not here right now. Stephanie Arroyo is absent. Anthony Brown.
Present.
Kenneth Crouch.
Present.
Carlos Diaz.
Present.
Wanda Hopkins. Sage Mason. Claudia Perez. Dawn Sanders is maybe on her way, hopefully, transit. Loretta So. Michelle Wilshire Clement.
Present.
Until Jose can confirm his attendance, we only have 4 present at the moment.
So therefore, because we have 4 out of the 7, which would make quorum, we will be going into recess for 15 minutes.
Correct.
And then we shall either advance if we get quorum, or we will have to postpone it for the next month if we do not attain quorum. Thank you. Please be patient with us and thank you for coming. So therefore, at this particular point, because it's not 12 members, but 11 active members, we will have quorum with 6 individual committee members. We do have quorum at this particular point, so therefore, we can continue with our meeting. Therefore, I would like to ask everyone, would you like to adopt the December 2023 agenda?
So moved, Chair.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Beautiful. And also we need to
Aye.
adopt. Thank you.
Madam Chair, I have a question. Do we have an agenda?
It was.
Yes,
sent to
I'll
us.
print stuff for you.
Do I need to wait? Okay. And we'd like to also adopt the October 23 committee minutes. As well as the November, I'm gonna put these together as well as the November 2023 committee minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And do we have any announcements? I will take that as a, oh, okay, Dawn.
I have my hand up. I'm so sorry. I just want clarification. Unfortunately, I can't make it. I do not have a lack of better words, I don't have a disability for not being there. I just messed up on my schedule. So I'm not gonna get there in time, guys. So can I vote or I can't vote. I'm just here present, not voting, right?
You are present but not voting because you have not signed anything and you are considered, you are participating, but you do not have voting
Okay,
rights.
okay, just wanted to make sure when you guys are asking for votes if I'm supposed to say something or not. Just want a clarification. Thank you. Sorry about that, guys. I will see
Okay,
the school board.
you're welcome. All right, and I take the silence as no announcement. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Dawn.
I'm sure I'm out of order, but I just want to announce that we had a fantastic event. And I'm really proud of us. So I'm looking forward to us doing more and maybe even having Metropolitan there and other things like that. So, sorry, that's my shout out.
And the event? Can you-
Oh, I'm sorry.
Name of the event, 'cause
We
not
had
everybody might
we had
know.
a public safety conference at the Silberman School of Social Work. For the record, we had some wonderful content. The content was top notch. We had some great VIP people come and speak. We had wonderful food and breakfast, and it was a really good bonding moment for people who were serious about public safety in this community. And I think we got some good vibes and some good feelings and some great ideas and partnerships that I hope we'll follow up on. So
Beautiful.
I just think that was worth announcing.
Yes, and we will get into more detail with that, a little bit later on. Any other announcements? Do you see any, lead online?
No one has their hand raised.
Okay. And so at this point, we'll go to our informal update. Do we have anyone?
We do have Detective Matos that's here, but I don't know if you might have anything to contribute or say or give a report.
Yes. Okay. Can everyone hear me?
We can hear you. Yes, go ahead, please.
Okay, I'm just gonna give you a quick rundown of the stats for the year. So we actually looking to finish the year down in crime. We're actually down 5.9% for the year. We are down in rate 14 to 18 compared to last year. That's a 22.2%. Down in burglaries, 129 to 194 with a 33.5%. Down in grand larceny, 412 to 459 with a 10.2%. And down in grand larceny autos, 78 to 82 with a 4.9%. Unfortunately, we are up in murder 6 to 4 for last year. That's a 50%, increase. But those happened early in the year. The last one we had was back in April. And we are slightly up in robberies, 188 to 182 with a 3.3%. And felony assaults, 410 to 376 with a 9.0%. Our next community council meeting will be January 24th, 2024. That's all I have today.
Thank you. I truly appreciate you being here and giving your report.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Detective Matos, am I saying your name correctly?
Matos, Matos, yes.
Okay, I just wanted to find out, with the grand larceny, auto, is it also,
Yes.
is it because of people leaving their
Leave
keys?
their cars unattended, keys, and the Kias and the Hyundais. They have back in early in the year, it was like a TikTok initiative where they actually put it on TikTok how to steal these cars, but Hyundai and Kia, they updated their system, so now it's a bit harder to take.
Okay, and is it in a particular area that
It's
can?
spread out throughout the precinct, but I'm pretty sure it's all like this all over the city.
Okay, and also I just wanted to say I was not able to go to the tree lighting this year, all the rain and whatnot. I
Yeah,
didn't want-
it was raining. Not too many people showed up, but it was still, it was still a good event. A lot of kids got gifts that we gave out, and everything was good.
Beautiful, thank you.
Thank you.
You too,
Anytime. Thank you.
absolutely. And do we have anyone from another precinct?
Nope, no one else is present or has their hand raised.
All right. Have to take the glasses on and off. So at this particular point, we will go straight into the presentations, and the first one for presentation is discussions on our agenda is the Lakeview Tenants Association.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Who's doing, oh.
We have it exactly written here as explore resolutions to eliminate safety and traffic impediments directly related to lab co-operations, Lakeview Tenants Associations, the 8th district leader.
Yes, if you, there it is, okay. So basically, here's what's happening. LabCorp, and we welcome business in our neighborhood. However, coming to our neighborhoods, you must respect your neighbors. LabCorp is situated on a very narrow thoroughfare inside of Lakeview Apartments. They're leasing space. To run that, not only they have testing facilities, but they also, ascension their samples. Yeah, so they're constantly getting drop-offs.
Mhm.
The issue is their vehicles, their employees, and their customers. Double park on, and if anybody's seen East 107th Street, it's very narrow, you have parking on both sides.
Mhm.
It's a very congested area between Fifth Avenue and Madison Avenue.
I'm looking at the diagram.
Yes. Now, this issue was addressed with LabCorp. I'm gonna say, they met with Lakeview's Tenants Association, Lakeview and Lakeview Apartments Management on September 22nd, 2022. And the mayor's office was there as well. And our NCO partners at the time, Penny and Smith. Now, they assured us that they was going to rectify the situation and compel their employees to park legally in the park or, off of 107th Street, unless it's, legitimate space. Okay, in return, they was afforded a number of spaces on Fifth Avenue where they could park with impunity. They didn't have to worry about getting a ticket. They was also given access to Lakeview's property through an exclusive ingress. They're the only ones who have the access, and I've only observed them use it maybe once or twice. And speaking with other residents, nobody ever sees them use it. Because the issue is this, it's on 106th Street, which means they have to walk through the property, which is still a shortcut. That's not a problem. They don't wanna have to walk either through the property or from down the block off of Fifth Avenue. Or sometimes off of Madison Avenue. They'd rather double park right in front of the facility,
Mhm.
which is close to the southeast corner. In the meantime, it's obstructing not only sanitation, residences, personal vehicles, but also it's obstructing emergency vehicles. Other large delivery, vehicles that need to get down the block. As a matter of fact, in one instance, actually resulted in a Lakeview resident who was delayed emergency medical service because of a double parked vehicle, and she did ultimately pass. And today we met with them and they assured us that they was going to rectify the situation that lasted all of 2 weeks, and then it went back to the same thing. So you can imagine from, I'm gonna say October of last year, up until just recently, I've noticed it getting better. However, that took the assistance of, Deputy Inspector Scott Callahan. He reached out to them and, told them, listen, if you're gonna continue to park, we're gonna take it and tow your
Yeah.
vehicles.
Mhm.
Also, the employees are rude and obnoxious, if you ask them to move. They're responding to that, and they responded to one of our NCO partners. I don't care if you're taking me, I'm not gonna pay it anyway. It's not mine. I don't care, do what you gotta do. And that's very disrespectful, and it shows, if people see this, then they can think they can get away with anything. We need to be able to respect our law enforcement, we need to be able to, respect our neighbors. Okay, well, like I said, I'm not against LabCorp making money in the community, but you're supposed to be there to be a benefit, not a hindrance and not a hazard. So from the law enforcement perspective, that's fine, and I have seen an improvement. But this needs to be something long term, something that's gonna compel LabCorp to basically do the right thing going forward without having to be policed.
Let me just also add that because they moved from 105th, now they're in 106th, so now they're double parking on 106th with the vehicles where people from Terrence Connell Cook Park. And they've taken their parking space, number one, and number two, they double park. And I've had difficulties trying to get out to go to a meeting at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and I was double parked by the lap car. And then it come out till about 25 minutes later, so what they've done is that they've gone from 105th to 106 and parked illegally and also parked double park, which is a much wider street.
Yeah,
But they're inconvenienced the patient, not the patient, but the employees. So it is a major problem
Yes.
that they're creating in our neighborhood.
I wanna make sure, did you finish your presentation?
No, that's exactly, my thing is this, I can't tell anybody how to run their business, but you would think that if you're gonna scout locations, you'd be able to take into account these things, where your employees are gonna park, that type of thing. I don't expect management to do much, because they're getting that money, for the lease. But something has to be done to compel.
yeah.
So, basically, I brought before the board to see if there's, what other remedies could be. To be exact,
You said you already have spoken with the law enforcement, and law enforcement has
they have,
helped on a steady basis.
they have addressed the issue.
You've already spoken with management that they rent the space from.
Yes, management was in the meeting now. Subsequently, when we requested additional meetings to readdress the issue, they refused, so there's only been that one meeting.
Detective Matos has his hand raised.
Detective, you have the floor.
Yes, hi. So we actually also went there today and spoke to management. And they said they've been sending out emails to the drivers and reminding them about not to double park. Also, we did a couple of joint operations with traffic enforcement, but most of the summons that were issued were to TLC drivers, I guess, when they drop people off. And there also, they do drug screening for new drivers. So I guess when they do the drug screening, that's when they leave the cars double parked. But for the most part, most of the summons that were written were to LabCorp and mostly to like TLC drivers. So we're gonna keep monitoring the issue, doing joint operations with traffic, and see what happens. As the time goes on.
Detective Matos, thank you very much.
Yeah, anytime. Yeah, sorry Callahan couldn't be here. He had the midnight duty tonight, so.
Thank you. I'm just concerned that someone ultimately died because of this situation. And
Yeah. We're gonna have our officer sector Charlie that covers that sector continue to, monitor that street 107 from Madison to 5th.
May I ask, Detective Matos, what did the management say? What was their response?
They actually showed me some videos of them. One of the managers, his name was Alejandro. He said he goes there at least 10 times a day, making sure his LabCorp cars are not there. But he sees these TLC drivers, when he tells them to move, they tell him, call the police. So it's mostly, I think the problem might be mostly TLC drivers.
Okay.
So, he was very good with us, so.
Okay.
Yes, Danya.
Did you also? So I just wanna say, just having studied the parking in that area for the last 20-something years. Whether I go to Lakeview or whether I go to Terrence Cardinal Cook, I drive around till I find a spot and then I just make my way back. And so last time I was over at Lakeview, I was trying to park by, I think 106 was a lot of spaces were cut off for some construction on the,
Towards the corner.
yeah, towards the corner, there was
Yes.
like no spaces. And then I think on the other side, there was also fewer spaces. And I used to be able to go to Terrence Cardinal Cook and park maybe 3 blocks away. You can circle that block over and over again and not find anything. So the point is that this community gave up parking in numerous locations from the bus lanes, the bike lanes, what do you call this thing? Get around, zip car.
Yeah.
And this was not, this kind of unsustainable transportation planning is not what we signed up for, I don't know, 15 years ago when we gave up all of our space. So I just want to voice my alarm too, that when I did go there, you're right, I parked somewhere and then walked over and the street is partially blocked off. And it's not being a good neighbor. And it's reminiscent of, was it Fresh Direct was causing trouble on 117th? Not Fresh Direct, one of the companies that does the rapid delivery was taking up space on 117 in Pleasant.
117, I thought this is area 160.
Yeah, but I'm saying this was the same,
Very similar.
this was the same issue and we had to call the corporate office of, not Fresh Direct, whatever the other thing is that.
Well, that's what,
Yeah, but I see what you're saying.
that's cut you off, but that's what we've done with LabCorp. Now, when we met with the representatives, their response was, I mean, just short of humorous. Well, we have, and all delivery companies do this, they have a department that does nothing but handle tickets. So they were like, we don't care if you ticket the car, because all we're gonna do is go to court once a month and have all the tickets paid for and be done with
But
it.
what if we tow the car? What if the car's not there
That
when
was,
they come
and
out?
that was, the Deputy Inspector Callahan's, take on, and he actually advised them of that. Like I said, I should have getting better this is just open the last week. But I would like to take a moment, because, I did bring District Leader Will Smith and a Lakeview Tennis Association board member to basically present as well on that issue.
Okay, so you weren't finished presenting, okay.
Well, I promise you I'll be very brief.
Okay.
For one,
Could you state your name? for the
William,
record?
William Smith.
Thank you.
I've lived in that building since I was 10 months old. And I've never left this area, and there was never this much activity in that block until LabCorp was there. Now, yes, we understand that Lakeview needs that anchor tenant. So we understand that, but what I would strongly encourage this committee, if not the full community board, is either to write an official letter to the management if that hasn't been done already. Not only to management, also to LabCorp, encouraging them to have their drivers adhere to the traffic rules. Because the complacency that Mr. Brown just outlined is outrageous. And also, if the NYPD 2-3 is aware of it, they need to circle the area on a regular, and not only ticket them, but like Dawn mentioned, tow those cars. Because we have hardworking people, and there's a parking garage on that block. So that having a double parked car there slows the flow of traffic there. So that it would really be helpful for the community board to either do a resolution, highlighting the issues on that block, and also highlighting the fact that we need to continue to think about still having parking spaces be available, because everyone is not having the ability to use a bike lane or want to do that. And we have to consider the members in our community who are not as active like that, who don't, use those things. So to close out, I would like I said, I'd like to see a resolution or a letter requesting immediate remediation. Traffic needs to be notified. NYPD traffic needs to be notified of the consistent violations of the traffic rules, and it needs to be stricter, enforcement there. So if we could get that support, we would be greatly appreciated.
Thank you. And,
Thank you.
Okay, thank you both. Okay, and we also have Evan Rojas to speak on this subject.
Good evening, my name is Arlene Rojas, I am a board member of the Tenant Association in Lakeview Apartments.
thank you. Could you speak up though, please?
Okay, speak loud.
There you go.
And, I worked all day, and when I come home from work, I hate to be looking for parking constantly because Lamport, and it's not only me, it's all the residents that do work and come home in that area, in that community, who have to look for parking constantly. And spend a lot of time looking because Lamport is double parked or triple parked sometimes. And they have no concept, no regard for anybody else. The giving them tickets alone is not gonna solve the problem. Like Mr. Brown said, they wait every month and give the tickets, pay the tickets and start all over again. So it's like a circle, like you're going around and around with the same issue. So I think it's more, the residents, the community needs more, something more effective to be done. And towing is a good idea.
You know, some talk, not order.
Hold on a second.
And I thank you for this time.
Thank you. I wanted to ask you, you said that are you leading the tenant association? Have you spoken about this within your tenant association
Yes, I am.
meetings? And did y'all write a letter during that time?
I don't believe we wrote a letter, but I think the president did. Mr. Brown, do you know?
Okay, the president, well, like I said, I was actually present at that meeting. We've met with Flatcore. And I said, their representatives were smart. You know, I mean, I get it, I understand, because most delivery companies, they do have that department that handles the traffic violations.
Thank you, but my question is, I wanted to get the sentiment, the official sentiment of the tenant association.
Yes.
I wanted to get, I heard what Will Smith said, and Carlos, and you, and Don. But I wanted to make sure to get the broader picture, so that could be added into our investigation.
Okay.
So was anything formally written or?
I believe the president of the tenant association has made some efforts to try to resolve it, going on step by step, speaking to these people.
Anything written?
Written, I'm not 100% sure.
Could you get that? If there is something written or recorded, can you get that to us?
Absolutely.
Or if they can write it down, what they've done? I'd appreciate it.
Yes.
I do have an email chain that will suffice, but what I want to do is I want to make sure. I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna speak to the president of the Tenants Association, just to make sure that the email chain that I have is the correct one, and it shows the timeline and the responses, so that, yes, there is something there.
Thank you. Yeah,
Detective, do you still, is this a new hand or is this an old hand?
Excuse me?
Is this a new hand that you have raised or is this an
Oh,
old
no,
hand?
no, I'm just listening.
Oh, okay, all right then, all right, I'm
No.
lowering your hand.
Thank
did you want to say something?
It was an old hand, I thought it was a new hand.
You did say but, that's what I was asking. Dawn, you have the floor.
Thank you. So I think that in the past, we have partnered with local tow companies. In some blocks where things were problematic and people were rude, and the tow company basically sat there and waited for somebody to violate. And if they didn't move, they just towed the car and they just took it over to, when you're going on the FDR Drive North, there's like some, so I think you might have to partner with a company that is proactive and unafraid to move those cars a few times. And even if they don't take them to a tow lot, if they move them somewhere else and then people have to go over there to get them, you might send a message. It's worked before, but again, it's good to work. I don't know, someone else should chime in. It's good to work with particular company that's in the area and you just tell them, what's going on and let them know that that's a place where they can go and help you with your regulations. So just gonna put that right there, but I mean, obviously open to whatever else
Let me just also add, if I may.
Would you like the floor?
Yes, please, I raise my hand, Madam Chair.
Yeah.
We have 2 parking spaces in the area. One of them, 105th Street, Madison Avenue, which is a block away from them. And they got one right in the block where they're located at. So if they're looking for parking, they should try to make it arrangements to park their vehicles inside the garages. And both spaces, I know that the one at 105th Street has a whole floor where we used to have, when Terrence Conoco had the garage,
yeah.
gave it to an ambulance company. So they could park their ambulances on the rooftop of Terrence Cardinal Cook. So maybe they may want to reach out to them to see if they can make an arrangement to park their vehicles there as opposed to
That's a
parking
good-
double
that's a
park
good
over the
idea.
street.
That's a good idea.
But they're not for free though.
No,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
free around, not anymore, they don't exist anymore.
But that's a good option for them. They need to get serious.
Those who paying all those tickets.
So as you know, we don't usually vote on anything we wait for the following month. And so during that time, we get that information on the timeline, whatever is written, conversations. Take into account the towing as well as the space with Terrence Cardinal Cook area, that parking lot that he said that they use with the ambulance and people.
And I don't know the ambulances are not there anymore, so they have the space available. And it's a private company, so it has nothing to do with Terrence Cardinal Cook.
Okay.
This issue, this is the last thing I'm gonna say, the
Yes,
whole
no.
meeting. That's not true, but this all is part of a bigger parking issue in that area. It doesn't really affect me but it does affect the area. We have Mount Sinai.
Right.
People can't park in front of Mount Sinai. And it's all working together. They doubled the bike lanes in front of Schaumburg. Like all those little things they do, they all add up. And so, when we complain, we're saying that before you add another this or another that.
We don't, not directly.
I'm sorry. No, but we worked together for many years. But the reason why we are critical, even if it seems like a little change, those little changes add up all throughout that area and impact the people who live closest. And I'm not even one of those people, but I am concerned about the changes that are happening in front of Schaumburg and in those blocks that are adding up to dangerous situations. And I'm happy to revisit with my good friend or anyone else who wants to come from DOT, I'm happy to revisit a comprehensive look at that area and not just, okay, then let's take 4 more spaces here and 5 more there. And because even if you're trying to go to Mount Sinai, those 2 lots are full. When you come around, the ones on Madison, those lots are full. So if you don't get lucky and get a spot, uptown, maybe like 100, well, then you're 103rd and 4th. Now you're competing with Terrence Cardinal Cook's parking. So
I used to find parking 115th Street.
yeah.
Then
Okay, we're getting a little off topic here. And our main point is to look at what has been said. Think about it, and then we'll vote on it next month. I'm going to move on. And we're going to the discussion for the MTA's intended relocation of the M35 bus terminal from Lexington Avenue between East 125th, 126th Street to East 125th Street between Lexington and 3rd Avenue.
I also want to just state for the record that our MTA liaison just wanted to let the public know that this is not something that's actually moving forward, that they're still, it's still on hold, they're still receiving public input and everything like that, so. It's just FYI on that one.
Okay, so Don, is there a representative here to speak about this?
Jose, I know that you wanted the committee to discuss this, but we did not send a formal invite to MTA. They are aware that we are discussing this for
Okay.
this meeting. And if we do have any input or anything that wants to be formalized, the committee can draft something up and then forward that to them. If you want to invite them at a later meeting, we can also do that as well. This is not something that's gonna be happening immediately. They're still on board with this.
Okay, and can the constituents that are online see this particular diagram at this point?
Yes, this is a screen share.
Okay, good.
I mean, we would follow our usual procedure.
Who's speaking?
That's Jose.
Jose speaking.
Oh, okay. You're breaking up, Jose. Did he get cut off?
Jose, can you hear us? Jose, can you hear us? Hello?
Sorry about that. So I just wanted the committee to be aware that this was, I can hear you. You hear me?
Yes, we hear you now. Please continue.
Yes. That's right. Okay, perfect. I just wanted to bring this up to the committee's knowledge. We've been in communication with MTA. This was not, this request, actually this change was not requested by us. They actually denied all the changes that we requested. And they went ahead and were thinking of making this change, and hopefully we have talked them out of it. However, we wanted to bring it up to the committee. And yes, we will take a formal position next month. There is no rush. It's just mind-boggling that they would do something like this currently, so the committee's aware. They there is that turn that they want to make going down Lexington, that is an illegal left turn. There's a no turn sign going down Lexington when you're on 125th Street. It's for anyone, for anyone driving a vehicle, safety issues because of the, you know, the individuals that frequent those areas as well as the general population. You know, we wanted to make sure that they are safe. So that left turn was taken away. Now, all of a sudden, you know, it was unsafe for a small vehicle, right? But a passenger vehicle, now a 40-foot bus is going to be getting out of a parking spot on the center of the block and making a left turn, blocking the street, blocking the traffic, would be mayhem. We would let them know of that, but I did want the committee to be aware of something so substantial that may happen. Hopefully it doesn't, but we still wanted to take a position, which we can do next month. Thank you.
Thank you, Jose. So do you want to discuss this matter any further? Or do you want to just contemplate for next month and make a
I
list?
just, if I may,
Can you state your name, please?
Rafael is kind of from DOT.
Thank you.
I just wanted to add to that conversation is that DOT is in discussion.
I mean, feel free to discuss. This is for information right now.
Yes, Jose, Raphael's giving a statement right now.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear Raphael right now,
I think he's
Jose?
going in and out, but this is gonna be,
Okay.
this is recorded.
Okay, excellent. So, what I can say about that is that DOT is in discussion with MTA as to what it is that is happening in that intersection overall. So, that's the only thing I can tell you about it. We are very much concerned about the pedestrian.
Rafael,
Yes?
yeah, I heard him in and out.
Okay. He heard you for a little bit.
Oh, okay, no, because we are very concerned about pedestrian crossing in that intersection.
Oh.
And, that was going in that direction. I have some, problems having pedestrian crossing all the time.
Visibility.
Right.
Thank
So
you,
they're-
Rafael.
They're in conversation about it.
Thank you. And we will be making a letter of how we feel about it next month.
And AOT is gonna be very involved with this MTA decision. Doing what they are probably doing.
Thank you. Any? Seeing that there are no hands up, we will make a decision on what we would like to write about this situation next month. We will definitely write a letter because this is something that's extremely important, that can save lives. Let us move on with our agenda for the discussion of the NYC DOT status update on East 117th Street and Pleasant Avenue. You have the floor, but first, Raphael, before you speak, I have to say thank you that we did get the markings between 96th Street and 107th on Third Avenue finally, and it does make a huge difference. I do want to say that there are bikes that are going helter-skelter. After they get to 96th Street, they decide that they're gonna go crisscrossing when they get to the north side of 96th Street and further up. I'm wondering what we can do at that point.
What intersection are you referring to?
The 96th Street,
And,
Third Avenue,
okay,
there's a bike lane on the west,
on the right side going up?
on the western side, going up, which stops abruptly at 96th Street.
Hmm.
Even though there are markings for the cars that are going up, it is helter-skelter with the bikes. They start like, oh, we're gonna go crisscross to where the buses are. And so when you get out of a bus, the bikes are flying up that area and almost hit people coming out of a bus. I almost got hit a few times. It's insane. I just wanted to point that out. But thank you so much for the markings for the cars and the buses. That has helped a lot. It's just that
Yes.
some individuals are not adhering to safe practices.
Those help.
And to get onto our topic of the East 117th Street, you have the floor.
It's it's an occasion that I have been very much interested in kind of finalizing it. I was just told by, Maggie from, Ayala's office, that according to her, there had not been any vehicle parked there, as she has seen some kind of improvement in terms of preventing preventing themselves of them obeying the fact that that's a pedestrian lane. So the buffers that are still there apparently is making some impacts on that decisions from those vehicles owners. But in terms of getting something there that we had discussed in the past, as it is right now, the unit that is in charge of getting those elements in that particular lane, so there would be protection from the vehicles on the adjacent lane. They're working on getting it, but because of the budget cut, there is some constraint. And that is gonna be taking a couple more, I guess. I wouldn't say a year, but sometimes. When I am on top of it, I usually reach out to the unit in charge, just to remind them that that has to be finalized the way that it was originally intended.
As in to give
What it seems?
more understanding of what the community actually needs as opposed to
Right,
some of the surveys that were done.
there is, remember that originally, there were supposed to be granite blocks installed between the vehicle, the adjacent lane and the pedestrian lane.
Mhm.
We're talking about, I don't know, Carlo, are you familiar with that?
Sure.
Oh,
Yeah, well, but Applebee's is gone, that was one of the violators.
mhm.
Well, the people that would go to that restaurant and whatnot. So being that that's gone and other stores are no longer there.
Well, the pedestrian lane would remain, we would help people to go and expand the sidewalk onto the pedestrian lane, so that we'll be able to walk. And we are for pedestrians. So if there's any indication that that pedestrian lane is no longer needed because of what you just said, then that's another issue.
Well, other businesses will definitely come, I mean.
Right,
This is just a safe time to implement it. You know
Right,
what I mean? I'm saying that we don't want to have the thing where you put up a traffic light because somebody died.
Mhm.
That sort of scenario. We don't want a horrible incident to occur for the granite blocks to finally get there. Human life should not be bargained with.
Well, what happened originally, and I was not there when it was designed and planned. Lyle was there representing the OT, but I had learned a little bit about the history. And I was told that the granite blocks were too big to put in the lane, taking the space that the pedestrian would ultimately use.
Hmm.
And that's when I was, if Jose is listening,
Yeah,
okay.
Seems like Jose
you got cut off
got
again.
cut off.
Yeah, but, that's when I first came on board. I had a walkthrough with Jose and two other people in that particular units. And that's when it was said that the granite blocks were too big to put in there because it would take too much space on the pedestrian lane. And the granite block was to prevent vehicles to come into the lane or to make sure, indeed, like you just said, to protect pedestrians from vehicles that are coming towards, Pleasant Avenue. So, but they have chosen another elements that will prevent vehicle from going into that lane. And there are what they call it back wheel stopping. If you see those, parking lots, they have low, like, like 8 or 6 footer.
Cinder blocks. They're made of concrete.
Yeah, pour concrete, they call it back wheel stopper. So they planning on putting a few alongside the lane between the vehicular lane and the pedestrian lane. So that will show the drivers that they should not go into that particular lane and also prevent them from parking there as they had happened in the past.
Are these granite backstoppers?
They're not granite, they kind of concrete.
Okay,
So they're concrete, and
concrete.
also sometimes they're made of, rubber as well. What they looking,
Rubber won't work.
right, that's what I,
That's easily to go over. Don, hold on a moment, please. But isn't granite something that can be cut to any size? So to have it where it's too big is a lot.
Don't let them fool you, Michelle.
what was it?
They've been fooling us for a year now.
Postponed it for a year.
And it's being postponed another year due to budget cut.
Unfortunately, it has.
Well, that's what you just said.
Right, exactly. It is but we make it an effort to kind of finalize that area as it was originally intended.
But you understand what I'm
Yes, of course.
asking, the granite can be just like
Done
a
in different
tabletop,
sizes.
it's different sizes, so to say that it's too large is illogical. But I wanted, Don, you wanted to say something? You have the floor.
Thank you so much. I had a question.
Yes.
Because this got lost on me maybe a year ago. If you put the backstoppers, or granite blocks or whatever you put, where will Access-a-Ride stop to drop off and pick people up? Cause I know that was a popular spot for the Access-a-Ride, that side of the block. So where do we expect people who are using Access-a-Ride to stop and get out?
I'm not familiar with that. area.
Yeah, so I never got.
This is the first time I hear about it.
Well, I never got confidence that the Access-a-Ride could stop the blocks there.
So far, Dawn, Accessorize has been stopping in front of the cargo bay. Right before this.
Oh, so there, where the trucks go?
Across the
Yes,
street.
so the cargo bay, they're using it like right there, like the very corner of the cargo bay. And they've been
Okay,
dropping off and picking up there.
okay, yeah, because I'm worried now about, it being an accessible mall, especially with people, with losing some of our tenants. I just wonder, cause I have people who, like older people who have a hard time getting to that mall, getting in and out, and they might instead go up to the Bronx, or they go down to 86th Street, the Target on 86, and I just wanna make sure that it's accessible. Whatever solution we have is accessible for like an Access-a-Ride, and people feel like they can go there. So maybe on the map, I'll just look at the map again and see where people would stop for Access-a-Ride. Just curious.
Thank you, Don.
Thank you.
Rafael, were you finished?
Okay, there's any other? There's something, no, that's it.
Okay, you wanna talk about the lighting, the new lighting you have on 125th and Lex?
Oh, the intersection 125th and Lexington. I'm not sure whether you have taken a walk over there. It is green. Some of the storage area that you probably have seen 3 weeks ago, they're gone. They consolidated it at 124th Street between Third and Lexington. So that area that you used to see all these materials, equipments, and couple of trucks, I think there was some of those things that using constructions, they're on 124th Street. And right now, we have installed 2 temporary light poles. Actually, there are 2 between 125th and 126th, right on the west side of the street on Lexington Avenue, which makes the area very well lit. And in addition to that, you have 6 light towers, the NYPD's light towers. You have 1 on each intersection, on each corner, on the intersection 125th and Lexington, and then you have 2 more on 124th Street and Lexington. So when you go there, it looks like,
Oh, yeah, okay.
you know, like,
Yeah.
and then you have, on 124th Street, you have 1 right on the southeast corner, and the other one on the
The northeast corner.
east corner, right,
Diagonal.
not northwest corner, right, diagonal. So it is very well lit. Now, what we need to do is get rid of those people that are usually gather around and doing things that it's not.
Well, those individuals.
It's not appropriate.
They need aid.
But yes, and again, this is as a result of a walkthrough that we had back in October, organized by the chief of patrol of the police department. He brought in together, joined by the mayor's office, brought in agencies representatives. My commissioner was there, the borough of Manhattan, Pinker. And right after, actually the following day, we began to make necessary changes there. First, moving the storage, because there was storage between 125th, 126 on the east part of the avenue. There was storage between 125th and 124 in this part. That is taken away. Also, there was not that much between Lexington and Third Avenue, 125th, right on the southern side of the street. So that is clean already. We also marked the pedestrian lane as well. If you notice, it was done back in October, late October. November, sorry, November, so, it's good, it looks good.
I think it looks better.
It looks better. It looks better, it looks.
And I do like that I was on 125th, Lexington, just I guess an hour ago, 2 hours ago, whatever the time is, I don't know. And hearing people say, wow, it's so much brighter here. And we appreciated that there's lighting. And I was glad to hear that, because me sitting, waiting for a bus, going, it's important to feel safe. And lighting helps the safety. You can see what's going on around you. And I think that it's really important too, that the walkthroughs that have been happening have come to good fruition. And it would be probably also good to have more walkthroughs instead of less. So if we can schedule more walkthroughs in areas that we come up with and have that as an ongoing thing, so that solutions can come to fruition, as this did, to make it better and better. Not just, not just like, okay, now we've done it, we're finished, to continue it. Yes, you have the floor.
Yes, to speak to that, are there any plans to address those issues of cleanliness and dim lighting north of 125th Street on Park Avenue? Like, you have Metro, we have the Metro North Station.
Right.
And so now one side of it, like I said, it was nice and bright now, it's a little bit safer. A lot of the same issues that plague that area have been pushed north. So on the other side of 125th Street, especially at that block, 125 to 126, 126 to 127. There's a lot of, that's a very dark area, and it's basically, it looks like the other side before the light.
This initiative that led to the walkthrough was originated by Community Link. The mayor's office, Community Link. So it would be a good idea that we can possibly reach out to them and partner in making this happen. I also wanted to share with you that I spent about half an hour, and Jose would probably like this, walking 128th Street, Third Avenue, and it was interesting because Jose has complained that has been a location of terrible congestion. And I just spent about maybe half an hour just making an observation, and I noticed that the traffic moves. It doesn't move that fast, but it does move on an average, just like in many other locations. I also noticed while I was there was 4 cars that I counted. they made the right turn on Third Avenue.
Mm.
And it was, when I saw it, I just remember also because he had said that before. But it seems that what is necessary there would be a sign. And I'm gonna bring that up to the commissioner. Because there is no sign that says no right turn. You know, there is the sign that says one way, okay, on both sides of Third Avenue, east and west. But there is no sign that will tell people, hey, you know what, even if you think about it,
People know that.
don't do it. Like when they see, and I'm as a driver, when I see something like that, I think about it twice, 3 times. And, the average, vehicular flow is, on an average, just like any other places. So I just want to share that with you.
Thank you, Kenneth.
Thank you for that update and sort of like presentation. I just, I live in that area, I walk my dog up there all the time. I've also seen cars running down 125th to get around. I think people know, right, that it's clearly a one-way street. I can't, or maybe my question to you is, how would any other solution that doesn't involve widening that roadway or creating more room for vehicles to pass through, how would any of those other solutions fix this problem?
I'm sorry, I'm not following.
Yeah, so put another way, if we're not going to widen that access area, that area where cars coming down from the Bronx.
Right.
And, cars are heading east. If we're not going to widen it, I fail to see what other alternative solutions could fix that congestion issue that's there at 8 in the morning, rush hour, happens again. And maybe you can help explain to us how something like a sign would fix that issue, a congestion issue.
Well, I'm not talking about that the sign would be a remedy for the congestion. I'm just made the observation that there were some vehicles making the right turn just to avoid the congestion ahead toward, between Third and Second. And I had just a suggestion that if there's a big sign there, no right turn allowed, okay, maybe that will deter the drivers from making that turn just to avoid the congestion. And let me tell you, when I was there for half an hour from 5 o'clock to 5:30, where the congestion usually are the worst. So, and it was moving. It was moving appropriately for the rush time that we used to. But I saw those 4 or 5 cars going to the right, and just to kind of emphasize the fact that making that block or that stretch between 127 or 128 going south would not be that impactful.
Thank you.
And that area, if you have seen the design and the plan, will be added, I think about 10 or 15 parking spots on both sides of the street.
Well,
Yeah, I think we're a bit far for that, I apologize for that.
before we go backwards, I just wanted to say that it really depends on what type of game is the age group that's being played on the field. If the age group on that field is under the age of 18, many parents drive their children there. And so then it becomes double park, sometimes triple park. Therefore, congestion increases. If it's 18 and above and they take their walk, public transportation, then it flows normally. You might have been on that time when it was flowing beautifully, which is rare. Usually it is congested when people get so upset and then they go down that one-way street. A lot more than 4 cars. adding extra parking spaces is important. But when you have a small child and they want to be safer, the parents are gonna, as they do with the schools, they want to see their child get into that safe space. And that's what the parents are doing when they are double and triple parking.
I understand, there was no parking there.
It was the older group. It was the older group. Thank you, and I'm glad that you did the one walkthrough, and I'm hopefully that we will partner and do more walkthroughs in the future, because it does get resolved. And I appreciate you coming and giving us this update. And hopefully you will return again next month to give us even better results. Thank you.
Just real quick, and Rafael, you did receive this board's letter regarding 128th Street.
Yes.
Commissioners, right? Is DOT still open to receiving commentary and formal correspondence? from the-
Yes, I think it's been discussed because during the last meeting we had virtually, there was something that was mentioned that has not been mentioned in the past conversations. And that was about taking a look at the signals on Second Avenue. How the signal on Second Avenue can be looked into in order to kind of have an effect a little further up on 128th Street and Third Avenue.
Right, I understand.
Now, it's going to be part of the engineering group
Yes,
to decide what can be done in order
to short.
to alleviate that.
Right,
And not go on and think about maybe reversing the direction of the avenue right there between 127 and 128. So it's been discussed
okay. So
at
let's,
a higher level.
okay, so DOT is still open to receiving formal written correspondence? then?
Yes, I think you have
Okay, perfect. So.
the right, I mean, as a community institution to speak up,
Sure.
you know.
Perfect. So the committee members, if they have a formal document or
So,
anything.
you know, let's
Right.
just shoot it to the commissioner, and copy me and take it from there.
Perfect.
And we will.
Yes.
We have lots to say.
Any other questions? Any questions? No questions. So I hope the next time I come this month, I see Jose and, person. All right, thank you.
Thank
Can I
you.
just say one-
Oh, wait.
Oh, you have.
I just want to say thanks. I hope that we can stay consistent with you.
Of course. You have my number.
But still, I think we do need to be able to see the same person over and over and not feel like,
I'll be
yeah.
around.
We
I mean,
appreciate-
Rafael is great. DOT is a problem.
Right. But when you get back, tell them we're happy with seeing you. However, we,
I wanna make the relationship last for a long, long time with
Yeah.
DOT as well. Okay,
Yeah,
because they really support me in terms of, assisting you and making sure that the community is run well.
And we appreciate you coming and giving reports and updates and suggestions.
Excellent. So if there's no more question, I depart.
Are we good?
Yes,
Thank you, Rafael.
thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you.
you're welcome.
And now towards all business, Dawn.
What?
No,
Okay.
because this is the spot to talk
I
about
was like, wait.
the
what is
Public Safety Awareness Conference. We do it at this point.
She ready to put it on the conference, it was a great one, right?
I think we should book our date for next year. Just put it on in
That's
there.
new business.
Oh, get our,
Let's go backwards.
get our $500.
We had Don greeted each person that came. And was a beautiful greeter,
Oh, thank
did a
you.
very good job.
Thank you.
The photos are still coming in, I think.
I think I sent a few. I didn't have that.
I have
many.
some photos, but I need to, you know, crop them and all that kind of stuff. We did not have enough volunteers. But we really went forward. Khalid was, at the table greeting people when they came up to the floor where the actual conference was. And Dawn was at the ground floor directing people up and welcoming them there. People signed in, people had breakfast, a nice continental breakfast ahead of time. The retired, and he loves that part, retired Assistant Commissioner Kevin O'Connor was our key speaker. I'm sorry?
He was not assistant, he was a commissioner of youth strategies.
Oh, a commissioner of youth. And he gave us the meat of what is happening in our community with youth violence. And the tragedy that's happening that has not really been spoken about and it's almost like it's invisible. And that is not what, we're not supposed to be hiding things. How can we fix something if it's swept under the rug? Our youth are not dust under the rug. And he made this very visible. And we thank him for coming out of retirement and giving us the opportunity to see the real numbers. Then we had people come and speak from like Concrete Sapphire, Silicon Harlem, you saw the agenda. And give like the desserts of where we can go moving forward and how we can uplift our youth. And this became just like, sort of like a popcorn sort of thing, where they just were given a few minutes, but the interactive lunch was the conversation, the in-depth conversation, that people chose the smallest room, we had 3 rooms. And they chose to be as close together as possible because people really wanted to talk with each other. And I kept saying, but look, this and that. They wanted to be close together. And every time you looked around, people were really like, this is what we can do, this is a great idea. And I think that that's extremely important. And because of that, do we have anything, I don't wanna get into new business right away, did we have anything else from the awareness conference that we'd like to say?
I'm just glad that you brought some real people up in there, and I'm glad there was real people, having real talk. Because I think a lot of times we like to gloss things over, but there was a few people who, like there was one guy who got really animated about violence prevention, and I didn't really know that that was how violence prevention worked here, but violence prevention gets kind of a bad rap, because thought is, oh, they come after they come to the candlelight vigil, but they also are on the street, interrupting. And it was just like, it was very good to have that guy talk about a particular scenario when, this person wants revenge, and then you have to, like, it was like he should have his own reality show, I think, because I feel like we need to start understanding the dynamics on the street and, so anyway, I thought that the content was absolutely excellent. I hope you kept a note of like who was there. I think the balance was great. Yeah, so that's pretty much something. So I think we should maintain that type of balance of the law folks and then the real folks, and like Mac talking about why she came here and what she saw. And, you know, I just feel like it was a very diverse group. And you definitely want to keep that for next time.
Thank you. So let us move on to new business.
Just one
New
last
business.
comment before we move on, Michelle.
Go ahead, Jose.
Most of the people, the request was that Saturday would have been a better day because obviously work. So that's something that we'll consider for next year. We had more than enough food, thankfully, and the information was, you know, it was devastating, honestly, to hear how much youth violence has tripled in terms of percentages over the last few years. But regardless of the fact that we knew that the information was going to be rough, and this is where our community needs is that direct information so that we can start making these changes. So I was happy that it went well, and we'll continue to improve it. And hopefully, you know, as a committee, we'll continue to brainstorm and make further improvements on this. So thank you all for that.
Beautiful. Yes, Don.
Last thing for real, I just want to shout out and thank Jose for a comment, you know, getting us so much pizza that it was just like a feast of pizza. And I know we had some confusion about how we were going to fund that. So I just want to say thanks for, you know, making up the difference and making sure we had adequate pizza. It was delightful. So.
Beautiful. I was trying to look up the dates that I had written down here for next year, going on to new business. Jose had said, that he would be interested in Sergeant Tiffany Howell, who is with the, youth, Collaborative Policing Youth Strategy Unit, for NYC. And because, Commissioner Kevin O'Connor really raised up this individual, saying that she is really a good person to speak with the numbers and sort of like his legacy in a way. And saying this in parentheses. I've spoken with her and she's given 4 dates for the end of September and the beginning of October on a Saturday. So we're working with Silverman Buildings people, and I've asked Khalid if he can find a way that we can get a space available and a date set way in advance. So that we can get the rest of the people on board with the name. The thing is that because everything was delayed, we weren't able to lock in some individuals. And at this particular point, if we do things so way in advance, we can lock in individuals, we can lock in our schedules, we can make sure that we have that day free so that we have more volunteers, so that we have people to direct people to do the timing, people to talk with individuals, get the, not clicks, but the workshops, the conversations and flow. And really get it directed so that we can listen to some of the things that are happening on and be part of the interactions instead of just moving around too much. So that
We
would
have
be.
to
Yeah.
remember that the goal of the forum, and it's great that you already have paid for it. Thank you, Michelle. I want to thank you for all the work. It's great having such a dedicated vice chair, so I really appreciate you. You know, the overall goal of this forum is exactly what we did. We brought in this terrible information that's unfortunate, but then we brought in all the programs that can help this information improve, right? Because a lot of times the people from our community don't know all the programs that are in our community. And they're always saying, we don't have this, we don't have that. So what we did is we brought a little bit of the two together, you know, and something, you know, we learned a lot from it as well. making sure that we hold these programs to standards, making sure that gyms stay open late. And we can start exploring this as a community board, as this committee, obviously, making sure that these programs are targeting kids of a certain age and, that are in that red zone. We don't necessarily just have to all focus on the youngest of the kids. Also, children that are in that critical range of age. So, we're gonna continue doing it. We'll continue to have more of these programs and try to explore them, bring these programs in and see the numbers. One of the biggest components to help these numbers get improved is to have gyms open late at night. So these kids are not doing anything crazy, but instead they're playing. So
Yeah,
this is something that we're gonna look forward to see who's staying up late, where they're staying up late, where this funding is going. And that'll be also the work that we have to do. Like we have to hold people accountable for the funding that they receive. So, it'll be a lot of work, but that's what we're here for. We're here to do the work.
Absolutely, we are here to do the work and we are working. And we're working, I would say, well. Not to pat ourselves on the back, but hey, compliments are nice. So that is where we are for new business for next year. What I would like to do is also find a way, after we secure a date and the same space, to start advertising as early as possible. So that we can, and partner with some people with funding if you need to.
yeah.
And can we vote on the date now? Do we have 4?
We cannot
So
vote
we
on the
can
date now, we need to, we have, the 4 possible dates,
Okay,
Oh, yeah, what are we?
but
We have
that,
to talk to the site. We would have to talk to Hunter College and see if they have those dates available. And then we'll come back to the committee. But we can do that quickly. Hopefully by next month we can submit that.
yeah, that's the thing, we need to get the venue. Once we get the venue, everything. Well,
And it's a great venue. A lot of people didn't realize that that was even in our community. You're passing by all the time and never got to really go inside.
and so on that high note, let us adjourn.
Roll call.
Roll call, please.
Jose Altamirano,
That's it.
Stephanie Arroyo absent, Anthony Brown,
She's on the
Present.
line, actually.
Stephanie here with us?
She, yeah, she's, when
She's
you,
she's no longer there.
oh, okay.
I heard you, Anthony. Kenneth Crouch? Present. Carlos Diaz? Present. Wanda Hopkins, I see is remote, is counted. Sage Nation, absent. Claudia Perez, absent. Don Sanders?
Yeah.
Loretta So, absent. Michelle Wilshire Clement?
Present.
Thank you. That's it.
Our meeting is adjourned at 8:11.
Happy
Thank you,
holidays.
everyone. Have a good night. Appreciate you all.
Hey, everybody. I'm sad I couldn't make it, but from what I've heard, it sounds like it was amazing.